Okay, do you agree with that, Rolake?
I agree, and I certainly agree, but I think there are also several dimensions, and one of the cases that particularly stands out to me is the coup d'etat that took place in neighbouring Guinea, not too far away, where the military junta came into power and promised a civilian transition, and within months, the military junta leader was also contemplating transforming itself into a civilian government with a view to standing, and this was despite the promise of democratic change and a rapid civilian transition. I think one of the key stumbling blocks in that was the relative, at least what I felt, was the general ambivalence in terms of criticism of that particular regime. The danger is when the military government comes in on the back of popular disaffection with the civilian process, there's a danger of complacency because people want to give the military regime the benefit of the doubt and hold true to its promise. So I think the pressure pumps need to be applied.
How?
Well, one of the things to hold the government accountable, I think sanctions perhaps will have only a limited impact, and if they are applied extensively, they should focus on the ruling elite, not the majority of the population who are already suffering extensively. And I think they also need to sort of, they need to hold other external players to account. We were talking about France earlier, but one of the problems is France is heavily vested in Niger and uranium. So in terms of the level of criticism that will come from diplomatic sources, it's going to be ambiguous. And I think there needs to be recognition that in addition to the role of regional bodies such as the AU or ECOWAS and the Nigerian people themselves and civil society, external players who have a vested economic interest in Niger, such as France, Libya in terms of uranium, there's a whole geopolitical power play going on there. Even potentially the Chinese need to be held to account in terms of the activities in Niger itself.
Right, and your thoughts on the positive role outside players could have. In fact, do you feel France has got is pulling more strings behind closed doors than we might be aware of?
Diplomatically, yeah, that's just how the West work. They go through those people who have vested interest in that. But you will see the British were the center. Took center stage when it came to Zimbabwe and countries like that. So, but the West do not want another Somalia or another Yemen, because remember, Niger has got a sizable community that is Muslim. So you don't want to actually have ground that can be used for radicalization. The fact that they've got uranium is worrying, because when you look at the DRC, the Congo, they are very rich. Those resources are being used to sustain the conflict and the struggle. And that continues to be a big problem. So I think the West have got interest. France will definitely try to stand up. But Mauritania, Guinea, and even the rest of West Africa, the developments there, even when you look at what's happening in Cote d'Ivoire, now the political conflict there, there's very little that appears to be done actively by the West or other people, including AU. I mean, you can chuck them out, but then that actually means you will not have enough power to discipline them if they are no longer part of the family. Okay. So there is a big dilemma there.
I would like to bring a final word to you there, Professor, in terms of what your best case scenario would be, because we've mentioned that there have been 3 coups there in Niger, in Mauritania, and also in Guinea, and concerns about Cote d'Ivoire too. Your best case scenario as closing words.
Well, essentially, I think that we can arrest this situation by being more proactive and preemptive, in the sense that we can see the trend gravitating towards this crisis. So we should not all be engaged in firefighting. We should preempt some of these moves by demanding certain preconditions and democratic ethos. Otherwise, we'll see more of this situation and then we'll react after the fact.
Thank you so much there, Professor. I'm so sorry time has really run short. We could have gone on for at least another half an hour. That is the end of the discussion on this week's topic, but we'd like to know what you think. Please continue to email africa@presstv.co.uk. Now it's time for a quick roundup of some other news from the continent.
President Omar al-Bashir's government and Darfur rebel group Justice and Equality Movement have signed a ceasefire agreement and pledged to work towards full peace agreement.
As a tribute to our brothers who have signed the agreement today, we have first of all revoked all the death sentences against our sons who took part in the attack against Omdurman.
The truce ends 7 years of conflict in the Darfur region of Sudan. South Africa has featured in 3 of the top 10 international air traffic growth markets predicted for the next 20 years. The prediction was contained in European airliner manufacturer Airbus 2010 Global Market Forecast. Nigeria's President Umaru Yar'Adua has returned to the country after 3 months treatment in Saudi Arabia. However, acting President Goodluck Jonathan would continue to run the government while the president recuperated.
And many thanks to everyone who's been sending us texts and emails. And I'll read an email here from Zichwaya Mischek from Zimbabwe. Thank you for the good coverage you're doing on Africa. May I start by noting I feel the panelists on the Zimbabwe issue dealt much more at political party level than at government level. There is a lot more than the inclusive government has positively done than would be seen as failures. Whether people will go for elections or not, the leaders have demonstrated that there's a difference between what happens at party level and what happens at governmental level. And a text here from Nigeria, from Shitu Taye. Hi, the arrival of Nigeria president is not clear as he arrives in the cover of midnight carried by aid vehicle. Meanwhile, since his arrival, he has failed to talk to the Nigerian media, and this has made the average Nigerian not to be sure if he's healthy enough to take his duty as president. And another way of sharing your thoughts on Africa Today is by joining our Facebook fan page. We've created a new one, and look out and search Africa Today, Press TV, London. And I'm afraid that's it. It always feels too short, but thanks to all of you who've sent comments to us. I'll repeat the email address again. It's africa@presstv.co.uk, or you can text +44 78 0000 8086. Messages will be charged at your local operator rates. And a big thank you to today's guests. They were very informative and analytical. Rolake Akinola, Thamsanqa Zhou, and Professor Onyelekwe. Thank you for watching. Join me, Vuyiswa, next week for more news and analysis on Africa Today.